Good morning, church. Good morning. I know it says that I'm giving a sermon, but no. I'm not a sermon giver, but I'm going to do the best I can today. I'm going to tell a story. Like my father in that way, he always liked to tell us stories. So I take after him. I was thinking about Christmas. Now that it's over and there is some time to reflect about all the things we do at Christmas time. And when I think of Christmas and about how I, and maybe many of you also, run around trying to make sure that we have just the right gift for everyone and for, the right gift that everybody will like, and I ask myself, will they like it? Is it right for them? So I kind of struggle with this every year. Anybody feel the same way about struggling about gift giving? And you struggle every year with that to get the exact right gift, you think, for people. And especially my husband, Bill, he's very tough to buy for because he likes to buy whatever he wants for himself, so I never know what to get him. But I do the best we can. But when you're a kid, think back to when you were a child and Christmas was coming. Usually you know exactly what you want or need. Mostly it's what you want, not really what you need for Christmas. So as a child, I want you to think back, about that, about how you were as a kid when Christmas is coming. Gifts. We all know what gifts the wise men brought to baby Jesus. But how many of you can really recall the gifts you have gotten over the years? Yourself. Can you remember? Maybe one or two might, stick out in your mind. Also, can you remember asking for a gift as a child and never getting it? I know I was big on that. I remember asking for a horse every Christmas. My father, I'd ask my dad, I want a horse for Christmas. I don't want anything else, just a horse. And of course, I didn't get one, except one year I did get a horse that had wheels on it, but it wasn't the exact same thing that I wanted. But, I wanted a horse, and I remember feeling disappointed when I'd run down the Christmas tree and the horse wasn't there. And instead of really thinking about being happy for what I did get and appreciate what I did have under the tree. But as a kid, you think differently, and you don't quite understand. Of course, now I know why I didn't get a horse all those years, but as a child, it was a little disappointing back then. We think we have to have something as children, no matter what it was, and that's just being a kid. Didn't matter, the other circumstances. The story I'm about to read to you kind of has to do with that, the importance of and the true meaning of giving gifts. And it's called The Bus Token. A young girl, her name is Jenny. She's about 15 years old. So I'm going to read this story. I want you to think about Christmas and gift giving as we're reading the story and the importance. Jenny stared unseeingly at the bright Christmas display in the store window. Crowds of hurrying shoppers surged around her, but she did not see or hear them. Her mind was awhirl with disturbing thoughts. Why couldn't her parents understand even her most simple wish? Why couldn't she have been an only child without the handicap of 3 younger brothers? Surely a teenager 15-year-old daughter should count for something. But no, the entire family picked on her and could care less about what she wanted or needed. She thinks to herself, I get good grades. In school, she thought, better than Jim and Johnny and Jerry. And I keep my room neat. Well, almost. I help with the dishes and babysit sometimes. Why can't I have that wristwatch? I want that wristwatch. With tightened lips, she remembered her mother's words. Jenny, you have a watch, and I see no reason to get you another. We have the boys to think of, too. We simply cannot manage to pay almost $100 for something you think you want. But Mom, I'm not asking for anything else for Christmas, just this watch. It's beautiful, Mom. The bracelet is really neat. No one else at school has one, and I could be the first. Besides, it's practical. You can't tell it's a watch until you press a button, and the time shows. And it tells the month and the date, too. No, Jenny, her mother had said with unexpected firmness, there will be no watch for you for Christmas. Jenny turned from the bright lights of the store window and buttoned up her coat. She wished the bus would hurry up and come. She was wasting her time here by a store window and was better than listening to her mother's unreasonable scolding. But she thought she ought to get home and start on her lessons. A small boy with a gray stocking cap pushed by her. He exclaimed in a shrill voice, "Look, Mom, there's that car I want. Do you think I could have that car for Christmas?" He pointed a grubby finger at the toy in the window, and Jenny looked down at the child, there at the toy, which had prompted his excitement. She saw a tiny, inexpensive, red automobile with rubber wheels and shiny fenders. The mother's voice was soft and tired. "But son, it costs 59 cents. She spoke as if the amount were absolutely impossibility. I wish I could get in the car, Jenny thought. Poor little kid. He looks like as if he has no toys at all. The boy continued staring at the bright red car, nose pressed against the window. He stood close to Jenny, and she resisted an impulse to smooth his jacket collar. Her fingers tightened around her small purse. Why can't I give him that car? She asked herself. I've probably got the money with me right now. Almost reluctantly, she counted her coins. 4 dimes, 3 pennies, and a bus token. 43 cents was not enough. She was surprised at her disappointment. Let's see, the car cost 59 cents and the tax would make it 62. I need 19 more cents, she calculated quickly. She separated the token from the dimes and pennies. Holding it between her 2 fingers as if it were a treasure, she walked into the nearest store. Hello, Jenny, the man behind the counter hailed her. Something I can do for you today? Hi, Mr. Grimes. How much will you give me for this bus token? She held it out. A bus token, huh? Well, I'll tell you, Jenny. I need to get home tonight, and I go by bus. He laughed at his own little joke. I'll sell it to you, Mr. Grimes. Well, let's see. The regular fare is 25 cents. I'll give you 20 cents for that token. I'll take it, she said, and she handed her 2 dimes. And he handed her 2 dimes. She turned to see if the little boy and his mother were still there at the window. His button nose was pressed against the window. His eyes caressed the toy, but she could never be his. Mr. Grimes, she said hurriedly, I want to buy a car like the one in the window for 59 cents, and I'm in a hurry. Okay, Jenny. He brought out a little box which she opened. Is this the one? She nodded. You don't usually do your Christmas shopping here, do you, Jenny? That will be 62 cents, counting the tax. She handed him the 2 dimes he had exchanged for the bus token, added to them with her own 4 dimes and 2 pennies. Oh, thank you, Mr. Grimes. Bye. Clutching the packaged toy, she almost ran from the store. The woman and the boy were turning slowly to leave. He cast a last longing look at that toy in the window. "Wait, wait," called Jenny, and then stopped uncertainly as he approached them. "Here," Jenny said breathlessly as she thrust her purchase into the boy's chilled hands. "A Christmas present for you." She turned and hurried and walked around the corner. The walk home seemed but a short distance to Jenny. She breathed the cold, crisp air in hungry lungfuls. She carefully read the faces of the passerbys, something she had never done. She found herself wondering about all their homes and all their family circumstances and all their joys and their sorrows. She thought about the child with the new toy. "That's the first time I've ever done anything for anyone else outside of my family," she told herself. She wondered at the strange exhilaration she felt. It was as if she were reborn. When she reached home, she found herself running up the front steps with an unaccustomed gladness. Her mother was dusting furniture in the hall and turned at her as she entered. "Hi, Mom," said Jenny. "I walked home. Had something to think about." She noted her mother's pleased surprise when she took the dust cloth from her hands. Jenny began polishing an invisible spot on a small table. "Mom, I've decided something," she said. "I don't want that watch, after all. I don't need it." Smiling at her mother's obvious relief, she added thoughtfully, "You know, Mom, I've already had my Christmas." The end. So I'm going to say a prayer. I thought that was a good story about the meaning of Christmas and how we should really think about gifts. There are 3 gifts that they say are the best to give. So when you're thinking about gift giving, think of these 3 things. Number 1, give the gift of experiences. Do things with people you love. Take them somewhere, go somewhere, even if it's a picnic in a park. It's a gift of experiences. Number 2, give the gift of time. Time to old people who are lonely and need people to come visit. Time to be with your loved ones. Give the gift of time to yourself when you need to have your own time. Lastly, number 3, give the gift of doing for others, helping others, which we try to do here at the church in many different aspects. And I think that's exactly what Jenny did in the story. And it made her feel good because you're giving the gift to others. I'm going to read this prayer and I'll close with this prayer. It's called a prayer for January. God of the years that lie behind us, so we'll pray. Lord of the years that stretch before us, weaver of all the ties that bind us, keeper and king of the open door, grant us hope and a courage of glowing, white and pure as the stars above. Grant us faith in a full stream flowing from the heights of your eternal love. Out of the ruins of doubt and sorrow, out of the aches and pain and tears, help us to fashion a new tomorrow, free from the anguish of blighting fears. All through the seasons of sowing and reaping, all through the harvest of songs and tears, hold us close in your tender keeping, O Maker of all new years. move into this new year with a great sense of the thrill of living and a gratefulness for the greatest gifts of life and for the gift of his Son, our Savior.